It simply cannot be closed.
Equal Housing Opportunity Company in MLS, number 3029.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. A little more than 4 months after trading a generational talent, Luka Doncic, to the Lakers, the Mavericks are expected to select another generational talent with the first overall pick in tonight's NBA draft. 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern, ABC and ESPN. Mavs set to take Duke forward Cooper Flagg at number 1. Kyrie Irving, believing in the ability of Dallas to compete for an NBA championship around him, Anthony Davis, and Flagg, agreed on a 3-year, $119 million contract with the team. The Celtics saved $180 million in luxury taxes with 2 significant trades this week. Kristaps Porzingis to the Hawks, Drew Holiday to the Trailblazers, and they might not be done yet. Former NBA Finals MVP Jaylen Brown, Derek White could be next, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. Boston has gotten a ton of interest regarding both players.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bad compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490.
AL certain number 21014.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The Atlanta Braves.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Line shot, left field, around third base, Albies. Here's the throw from Lux. Not in time. Braves win as the rookie walked it off in 11 innings.
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to a Wednesday edition of the show. John Abraham and Joe Hunk, 2 hours straight of sports talk, goofs, gaffs, your phone calls, and so much more as we get into it. Of course, the Braves get yet another win last night against the Mets. They are the kryptonite of one of the best teams in the MLB. On top of that, the Tigers, first team to get to 50 wins on the season. And, well, the Yankees need to get out of Cincinnati. That is for darn sure as they drop to the Reds yet again in a start for a debut pitcher that has been all over your timeline. And we'll get into that and so much more. And it's all presented by the wonderful people at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com. I'm going to instantly start off with this, Joe. Not the baseball, not any of the college football that we're going to be getting into
So
here
not
in a
any
moment.
of the stuff we care about.
No, it's
Okay.
something that we care about. It's swag. All right. I love some good swag. I'm not wearing good swag. I mean, it's decent swag, but the company that gave me this is out of business right now. All right.
Maybe they've been better at their jobs than their shirts, because the shirt's not bad.
No, they should have done advertising with us.
Yeah.
You've got some Kansas City Royals swag on.
I do. I'd literally. So in all reality, getting up in the morning, total crapshoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
What time? 3 o'clock this morning?
Actually, no. I got to sleep last night. See, so the flap, maybe the flap is growing and it's building up. Like maybe so. I actually fed my daughter her very first bottle.
Yeah.
Last night.
No acid reflux.
No acid reflux.
There you
And
go.
I fed the first bottle to all 3 of our kids, and so it was kind of cool. Maybe it's that daddy love, like we all know, the little girls love their daddies. But it's a crapshoot in the morning. Either everybody is awake, or nobody is awake.
Okay.
So either I can hop in and get the clothes and like pick it out and make sure it's clean, or not clean, but not wrinkled, and get everything lined up, all that, do it right.
It's rarely clean.
Or I'm like a SEAL Team 6 member, like trying to crawl through something, just trying to be as quiet as possible before I double tap.
Yeah.
But one of those. Today was a double tap day. So so this t-shirt literally was just the first thing that I saw that I went, you know what? I haven't worn this in a while.
Yeah,
So I'll throw it on.
I wouldn't be repping the Royals right now either, just because that loss that they had last night. 1 run, and it was in the 9th inning.
That's how the Royals have been outside of like 2 years.
But you know what? You're not a fair weather fan. You are a straight up Kansas. I'm not even fan.
No,
I don't know what you are.
No, it's not a fan of the team. I'm a fan of the city and of the people that I know that live there, that that are friends of mine, and I support them.
Gotcha. Well,
so it's not even a fandom at this point.
Okay. Well,
It's just-
yesterday I saw something on Twitter, and I want to give some love to Randolph right out the gates. All right. The Randolph Raiders. We have them over on our high school sports streaming network whenever the fall comes around. Lots of good football from that team. They've got new hats that came out, Joe. And I saw them yesterday. I was thinking to myself, those are sick. How can I get some of those? So I got to admit, all right, I would every single day on this show, you guys can watch us over on WZZN TV. You can listen to us over on our apps and all of that stuff. All right. Every single day I'm going to be wearing clothes. If you are a high school and you want to throw some clothes my way, man, just do it.
So you're whoring
Just
yourself
do
out
it.
on this?
I kind of.
Okay.
I didn't want to come off that way, but
No.
it's like I just give me the outlet to get these clothes, and I will bring them on, and I will wear them every single day, because the baby blue and the dark blue and the gray look so nice together. And
That is sweet.
I'd be rocking the Raiders across the head. I'm just being straight up with you. That's me right out the gates on this Wednesday here in No Man's Land.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to
No,
get to.
the hats are absolutely sweet. Look, I just want helmets. That's all I want. I just want helmets, okay? Because if you and John is controlling the stream over there, you can see how we have these helmets that are right here on this desk. We have an idea that we want to kind of start a wall of football helmets, kind of like what we're going to see in a couple of weeks at the College Football Hall of Fame. But you see these helmets that we have going on right now, okay? And so we have certain teams. I think there is a Raiders helmet down here at the bottom right. I believe I just saw that one. We have JP2. We have, I believe, right in front of me right now is Clemson.
Yeah.
There's New Hope. We have UNA, Decatur, Lee, and there's some also down at the bottom like Huntsville and all of those. Buckhorn, which is my son's favorite helmet. I just want some helmets that we could throw up here that are there. So because coming up in a couple of weeks after the SEC media days, we're going to have our high school. Right after we're going to have our high school media days. All we're asking, if you have yet to donate a helmet to the 97.7 ESPN The Zone wall,
could be an old one.
It could be an old one. The Huntsville one, I think, is like 4 decades old. Like, it doesn't matter.
That's a bucket right there.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, that was like 1 year removed from like the single bar. All we're asking, just bring your team a helmet that we could throw up on our wall. That's what we're doing.
Nobody's gonna be wearing some of those helmets anyway. You got to get rid of them. You can't do
you have like
anything with them.
100 and something helmets. And look, these helmets right here, and I just pick up this one. Like these are legit. Like this is literally, we could, if a coach came in right now, if Coach Harper came in and said, hey, we're down a helmet, can we have that one back? Yeah, you could literally walk onto the field with this helmet right now. Okay.
Good.
That's all we're asking.
I mean, we
Okay.
literally we had it the other day. Joe, remember?
It's not even for me. Like I'm not trying to whore myself out for it.
I think that's exactly what we're doing right out the
Yeah.
gates of the show. What we do is, if there's ever an argument between hosts, what we do is Oklahoma drills. All right, so
Yeah.
you put a helmet on. It doesn't matter which one. You just pick out the one you want to wear today, and then we just get down in the huge office that we got, the brand new office, and we just do the Oklahoma drills. And we just, and these helmets, they keep us safe. So we need more of them. We want to be able to represent all of the high schools around the area. And of course, one of these days, we're going to have a wall similar to what you said, Joe, in the College College Hall of Fame over in Atlanta, where they have every single one of the college football teams. Even Delta State's on that wall, Joe.
Screw Delta State.
I don't know if you knew that, but
Screw Delta State.
yeah, they don't just have all of the main name teams. They have some
Yeah.
of the. If UAH had a team, they would be up on that wall.
I think we should create a UAH helmet.
We could just grab the Huntsville Astros helmet.
I mean,
That's pretty close.
I think that we can. I think there's a helmet. Let's get that helmet. Like, I mean, that's what we're saying. Is we just want to add helmets and add that to the wall, so that we have this humongous wall that obviously John's sitting there in that control room. I'll be in there at 12, and we just want to decorate it and make it look awesome with all the high school teams, because let's be straight, 97.7 is kind of the home of all of the high school football around the Tennessee Valley.
I mean, with Scott doing the high school scoreboard show, we cover all of the games every single
We've
night.
got like 5 games every single Friday night. If there's a game on Thursday night, we got, like, trust me, like, we've got you covered on all that.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and build that up. And this also, again, we've got a UNA helmet, so we don't have to, propose it to them. Jack State, you're involved in this as well. Like we could just go all the way through that. I don't care, Miles, wherever we're talking about here. I mean, Miles is down in Birmingham, but still, but UAB. Come on now, trust me, you need love right now. It's those are the things that let's go ahead and make this wall. Okay,
I'm all for
so
it, Joe.
you can ask for the Raiders helmet. We are a Raiders gear. We've already got the helmet. I just want the helmets for the wall.
Yeah,
I'm not even asking for myself. And this includes Sparkman, because somehow we don't have a Sparkman one, even though John and I do all of the games. We don't have a Sparkman helmet.
I just don't think we've pushed it enough with Coach Ronnie Watson. But now we're
Sparkman
standing firm. We're standing firm on this ground, and we are pushing for it all. And we're also pushing for you guys to show up on the 27th, this Friday. I don't know if we've pushed this enough, Joe. This Friday, though, Bobcat of Huntsville, we're going to be out on location. The Blitz isn't live on location a lot, all right? So these are huge events where you get to hang out with us. You might be able to hop on the
so
show.
Little, I don't even have 97.7 gear because we're out so little that I don't need
Well, you got rid of all your 97.7
I did
gear.
get
We
rid
went
of
to
it the first
Nashville.
go around. I did get it around the first go around. So, and I'm not gonna lie, the store right behind our studio right now. When I went over there yesterday because I had to go grab some sausage.
Yeah.
I did what every man does whenever they're rolling through that store, and I went through the clothing section. They do have some quarter zips that are plain that I probably could just grab real fast and go. I saw them yesterday. I'm just letting you know.
You got to take me to that store so I can also get some of the quarter zips.
You're not cool unless you have a very special membership. Please.
That's why I need you to take me there. I can't get in.
Now, you don't need a membership, though, to go to Bobcat of Huntsville, which is where we're going to be on Friday. There's going to be food. We're going to be broadcasting from 9 to 11.
Door prizes.
All of that.
Yeah.
And for the next couple of days, because today is June 25th, let's not forget, next week, at the end of next week is the 4th of July. Oh, weird. That coming up for the next couple of days, all the way up to July 1, that being the cutoff day being June 30th,
and payday.
You will get 48 months. Wait, is it 4? No, you're getting a lot of months with no interest.
Mm-hmm.
I did not want to say 48 and it not be 48 because I'm doing this right off the cuff. Yes, 48 months. 48 months of 0% financing on anything that you buy at Bobcat of Huntsville.
No doubt about it, Joe. So it's going to be a lot of fun this week to end off, and then going into next week, of course, getting prepped for SEC Media Days. To help us out a little bit more with that, going to be Pete Nakos from On3 is going to hop on with us in the next segment, get the college football conversation rolling.
Well, it's more about one specific team that sounds like the team that we all love because, we like hearing that, what's that team? Because their quarterback, who is yet to take a snap for them, is already basically throwing the entire team under the bus, or at least that's what it appears to be.
Yeah.
So we're going to ask Pete Nakos about the article that he did that went viral about Castellanos and about what he was saying about how Alabama doesn't have Nick Saban anymore. And so they're not going to be able to stop him when Alabama and Florida State play each other in week 1 of the regular season.
Do you know what happens when Alabama faces off against these big-time teams week 1?
I am going to go into this conversation with Pete because we had him on a couple of weeks ago because he knows a lot more stuff about the NCAA and the rules changes and all that than anybody else does. I'm going to go into this with an open mind because in a way, Castellanos isn't wrong.
It's a talented team, Joe, no doubt.
The first part of the sentence is not wrong. They don't have Nick Saban anymore as the head coach.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I mean, they don't. I mean, he still recruits for him, but he doesn't have him as the head coach. So that part actually isn't wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see from just all the way up, not being, one side or the other, if Florida State truly does have this team that could actually give Alabama a little bit of a run, because I believe right now the line is Alabama 11.5, I think is what it is.
That's what I like to hear.
And game is in Tallahassee. So this is the reason why I want to go into it just non-judgmental and just truly see, as Pete has done this article and looked at everything that's happened with Florida State, as Castellanos was making the comment, if he in fact thinks that Castellanos has a leg to stand on and what he believes is partially true. Are we underselling Florida State because of what's happened last season?
Yeah.
They've added a brand new offensive coordinator. And again, Gus Malzahn has not been an OC since he left Auburn back in 2011. But when he was an OC, dude was legit.
Mm-hmm.
So does that play into this?
It definitely is going to be a question to be asked. And on top of that, we'll get into 10 games that are going to shape the 2025 college football season, according to Joel Klatt. Now, this is interesting because I haven't seen the whole list. I want to see if Alabama and Florida State's somewhere on this, because if we are kind of overlooking this matchup, then it wouldn't be. But I feel like 2 years ago, it would definitely be on this list, and no doubt about it. But you guys are also able to join in on the show throughout the entirety, 256-576-97.7. But while we talk with Pete Nakos from On 3, you guys are going to be able to join us over in the chat over on our YouTube page. So let's hit a break. You're listening to 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WZZN TV, as well as ESPN Winchester. All those ways that you can watch us and listen to the Blitz on this Wednesday.
Yo, Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. This is the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of iconic casinos, world-class shows, dining, and entertainment. Las Vegas, with flights starting as low as just $79. Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Las Vegas. Book nonstop to Las Vegas now at flybreeze.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well, try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials free to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Once again, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Heat indices anywhere between 104 and 108. Going to be another hot afternoon. Temperatures drop into the mid 70s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Slightly better opportunity for rain. Otherwise, temperatures climb into the mid and upper 90s.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Nothing like JT and the Tennessee Kids to bring us back on a Wednesday, cool us down on a very hot day here.
There's no cooling down
in the Tennessee Valley. Well, if you work with our amazing sponsors and combine that with some other shows' amazing sponsors like Talent Heating and Air, well, you'll be taken care of. But getting closer to the football season, we can finally start getting into all of our lists. And on top of that, the SEC media conversation that's coming up just around the corner. We will be on location. All of our shows going to be live in Atlanta from the College Football Hall of Fame. Well, we're getting into these conversations, and of course, we're going to hear some things from players. And I feel like nowadays we're hearing more and more from the players about how they feel about certain teams, and it can go two ways, okay? It could go the Diego Pavia way, where so far it's been pretty good. Or it could go the complete opposite, and then, nobody's going to really focus on that program because, well, they embarrassed themselves to start off the gate.
Or everybody's going to focus on them because of their brand recognition.
Yes. And Florida State kind of is right in the middle of all of that right now because everybody knows of the Seminoles. And on top of that, they got a brand new shiny quarterback that's already talking a little bit. And, well, we got to figure out if this is going to come back and hit them or not.
Absolutely. And that's where we bring P. Nakos back with us, who joined us a couple of weeks ago to talk about the NCAA ruling when it comes to all the brand new money that's going to be flowing through these universities. And Pete, earlier this week, puts out this article that he did with Thomas Castellanos, who is the brand new quarterback for Florida State. This thing now goes viral because of what it said, and Pete joins us right now. And Pete, man, I'm curious as you hop on. How did this all start? Like when you were wanting to do the piece, what was the original plan for the piece when it was coming to Florida State and Castellanos?
Yeah, so I talked to Thomas Castellanos last Friday. We put up the story Monday. I guess just to start, guys, like I think this is a guy who has a lot of confidence in what he can do this year. And I think that this is a guy who had some stuff to get off his chest. Hadn't really been able to be given the space to talk about how things ended at Boston College. And the other talking point here that I feel like he's getting lost in the mix that I want to bring up, and I don't know if you guys see it the same way, but I mean, Florida State went 2-10 last year. I prefer to have the quarterback who feels like they can make some noise this year rather than the guy who isn't making headlines and, might not exactly have the confidence you're looking for to lead a quarterback that had such a bad 2024 season.
Well, look, and Pete, trust me. I mean, everybody obviously in the state of Alabama looks at this because, they've heard this before. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can even go back to the last time Florida State and Alabama played each other in Atlanta, like in 2017, and people thought DeAndre Francois was about to just obliterate Alabama. And I think that in this state is I don't know if you want to do that or not, but let's just say he pulls it off. If Florida State wins in August to start the season off, everything that he just said in this article doesn't look as crazy then like it is to a lot of people right now, is it?
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, I was talking to someone around the Florida State program the other day after the story came out, and they did bring up DeAndre Francois and that, parallel.
Yes.
And might be why some Florida State fans were so, I don't know, annoyed, but definitely a little frustrated with the comments. Listen, there's still I think it's 10 weeks now, maybe a little less than 10 weeks until they put the ball on the field. So there's a lot more time for Florida State to get ready to play Alabama. And the other talking point here that, my colleague Ari Wasserman wrote a column about this. I'm the reporter, so I'm not here to dish off takes, but at the same time, there is a conversation here to be had if, is Alabama really that scary anymore? I'm not going to answer that question, but I think that Thomas Castellanos gets at a point that I think could define the 2025 college football season.
Yeah, and I definitely see where he's coming from. That Florida State roster completely revamped it, and I'm surprised I didn't see this on Joel Klatt's picks for the 10 games that are going to shape the 2025 season. But at the same time, people aren't looking at Florida State the same way they were 2 or 3 years ago. And now, sure. I mean, they're back with a reloaded offense and a defense that honestly could scare a lot of teams on their schedule. Talk a little bit about this roster.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing too about this Florida State roster here is it's got so much turnover with the portal yet again. And I think that scares some Florida State fans right now, knowing just how last year's roster just didn't, turn out the way a lot of it expected to after that breakout 2023 year. I think there's a lot of expectations this is the new standard at this point. The only thing we're going to do is just continue to improve and make the CFP in the 12-team playoff, right? Like that made a lot of sense. And then things just didn't come together the way they needed to. So now you look at this year's team, and I think there's some skepticism about how's it all come together and how do they not go 2-10 again? I think this roster has the pieces to take a step forward, but I think the other question that has to be had too is what is the standard for Florida State this year? What are the reasonable expectations?
Yeah, no doubt about that. Pete Nakos from On3 is our guest to give us a little bit of a breakdown for this Alabama-Florida State and all of the stories that are kind of behind it. And of course, there's two ways this can go. Florida State wins or Florida State loses. If Florida State does win the game, where would you put their ceiling at with the schedule they have ahead of them? Of course, the ACC, not as challenging as it has been in the past, but this could be a team, paired with Clemson that could put the ACC back on that map.
If they beat Alabama, then you're talking about a 4-0 start to the season going into that Miami game probably. And that completely changes the trajectory of the year. So, listen, if they beat Alabama, then I think the first few weeks of the college football season, we're going to be having some pretty like honest, open conversations. Like, is Florida State ready to compete for the ACC? Can they take on Clemson? Are they a legitimate CFB contender? I don't think we can really have those discussions right now until we know how it goes against Alabama and how it all looks.
Yeah. And I mean, on the flip side, though, Alabama wins this game. Does it change any of the trajectory that they had going for them?
I don't know if it changes the trajectory. I think it's just some really good reaffirmation to the Alabama fan base that, like, hey, all those players heard what everyone had to say last year. Notice taken. Things are headed in the right direction, but that Alabama schedule is not easy either, right? You got Florida State, then you got Wisconsin at home. I know Wisconsin is not the Wisconsin we all historically think of them as, but that's still in the realm of non-con games this day and age. That's still a notable non-con game. And then you got to go to Georgia 2 weeks after that. So it's all going to come fast for Alabama. So I think opening fast and winning in Tallahassee is the kind of tone setter Kalen DeBoer needs going into year two.
With this Florida State team and with Castellanos, and I know that, look, when you do an article like this, there's, probably still so much that you weren't able to put into it because of how much you and he talked. But what about the Gus Malzahn side of this? Did he talk about the relationship with Gus? We know that he used to be, play for him down at UCF. What about that relationship? Does that put into his confidence that he's got at Florida State right now?
Yeah, I think Gus Malzahn had a lot to do with Thomas Castellanos ending up at Florida State. And I know Mike Norvell is the guy who first made contact with Castellanos, and I know that they hit it off. But I think the opportunity to kind of reunite with someone he has a lot of confidence in is something that Thomas Castellanos needed, is what he told me after. I think his confidence was shot after he left Boston College. I think he told me he felt like he was really limited in Bill O'Brien's offense. And when that's going on, then it kind of sends the message that he needs to get back to something that he feels like is closer to himself. And I think he can do that with Gus Malzahn.
Well, what's crazy for me is also the ACC part of it. I say crazy because, again, I agree with you with what you said earlier about I would love a quarterback with this confidence. Trust me, I absolutely love it. But the part about running through the ACC and, how the dominating and all of that part, is there merit in that? Like, again, Boston College, we didn't really look at him that way for majority of this until he does transfer to Florida State. But are you looking at it and going, again, he wasn't wrong with the whole Alabama doesn't have Nick Saban thing. But there's some other pieces in here that people are focusing on that's like, it's really not wrong about some of it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he obviously said some stuff about running through the ACC that not a lot of people agree with, and he said some things about how things ended at Boston College that people definitely don't agree with. So, to each his own, right? Yeah. I think this story was really just to let Thomas Castellanos, be heard.
Yeah, and it definitely seems that way. And honestly, I'm mixed on it right now, of course, because it's about Alabama. It has some raised eyebrows, but at the same time, it's bringing in a lot of eyes and a lot of hype around this game to start off the season. But Pete Nakos is our guest. And as we get closer to SEC Media Days, kind of want to know your opinion on the conference itself this year, because it doesn't seem like it has that same oomph that it had last year or the years prior. It seems like a lot of new faces that are going to try and make those names to really put a picture on the SEC going forward.
Yeah. Are you just saying just because they didn't get the most teams in the CFP last year? Is that where you're kind of going at with that?
It's mainly around just the teams themselves. I feel like there's not a lot of huge names that you could really look at. Of course, there's the Arch Mannings and the Ladora Sellers, but when it comes down to the names that you see in the past years, where you got the senior quarterbacks that are coming in, there's numerous ones around the league. It just seems like a different vibe around the SEC this year, and of course, it also goes to the college football playoffs. They haven't won the national championship in the last 2 years. How much do you look into that going into this upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, so first things first, I think that Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers, Marcel Reed, those are going to be the guys we talk a lot about this this year in the SEC. And then I think the other reason why maybe you feel like that too is like there's not a quarterback question in Georgia. At the same time, Gunnar Stockton is not the known commodity that Carson Beck was. And then on the flip side, you get Alabama, where they've yet to name a starting quarterback. And so I think those are two things. Jackson Arnold is not new to the league, but he's new to Auburn. I think Taylor Green has a chance to be like one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC this year.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see if he takes another step forward. So, like, it's just a different look,
Mm-hmm.
It's not the traditional Auburn. I mean, not Auburn, Alabama, Georgia. Who's going to win it this year? Kind of conversation that we've been so used to in the last decade. So I think that's still taking some adjusting too. And then, I know the SEC hasn't won it in 2 years. I wouldn't sound the alarm. That's not, that's just my opinion. I know Michigan, Ohio State back to back, but I mean, the SEC dominance over college football is not gone. And maybe it is in this short stint, but they still had the national title run that they went on in the 2000s.
You can follow Pete on X at PeteNakos_. And I know that we focus a lot on the Thomas Castellanos piece that you did a few days ago, but then yesterday you put out this awesome piece about Haynes King and the quarterback for Georgia Tech that transferred from Texas A&M to Tech. He beats Miami last year, literally takes Georgia to like 8 or 9 overtimes. And even though Georgia Tech was 7-6 last year, this is a different Georgia Tech than what we've seen pretty much for the last 20 years. What did you learn about him and that team when you were doing that piece?
Yeah, I thought a couple things about Haynes really stood out. I thought that he was really honest with me about how he felt things just didn't go well at A&M, and not in a negative way, just like, after 3 years, it was clear to him that he probably needed to go. And then, past that too, I think that he was pretty honest too about how important it was for him to come back to Georgia Tech this year. And I know about it and I tried to write about it, but literally, I won't say half of the SEC and Big Ten, but there was a lot of schools who would have killed to have Haynes King on their roster going into 2025. And I know some people roll their eyes and they're like, oh, Haynes King, he has an injury issue. Well, guys, he started more games than most returning quarterbacks in college football this year. And that is a stat that cannot be easily replicated. So I know for a fact a lot of schools would have loved to have him. So that's one thing that stood out that he talked about why I wanted to go back. And I thought that was interesting to hear about.
Well, and with it, because you mentioned about the decision to transfer, and in the article, I know it talks about how he found a family in Georgia Tech, and obviously they've been changing the way that they play football with what we've seen in the past with them. But did he go into any detail about why he chooses Georgia Tech in the middle of Atlanta, where it's not even the biggest, the most favorite school in that state? Like, what was the reasoning behind that as a kid coming from Texas?
I think, Haynes King highly used his father's opinion. He played for him in high school. He kind of talked to me about how much he thinks about what his dad has to say on stuff. And I think his dad and Brent Key really hit it off. And Haynes King saw an affinity to Brent Key too. And I think there's a lot of trust in what Brent Key can build at Georgia Tech. I also think too, Haynes talked about it. I think he was a little conscious that maybe it was time to get out of Texas. He played high school ball there. He went to College Station. I think he thought for him to take the next step, it might be time to move a little bit further away from home and really take this football thing to the next level.
No doubt about that. And we've seen it plenty of times before. Maybe he's able to achieve it at Georgia Tech. But, we talk about SEC Media Days. We're talking ACC as well. It's only right to talk about the ACC Media Days. Of course, Georgia Tech's going to be talking on that first day, so we'll learn a little bit more information about them. But on top of that, Florida State going to be talking. Talk a little bit about the biggest storylines that you're following going into July 22nd around ACC Media Days and how they can get back to that top spot within college football.
Yeah, I think all eyes are on Clemson. I think Clemson next to Texas probably has like the most like guys coming back and will be viewed as a top, program to contend for the CFP this year. Beyond that too, I know North Carolina is going to be a big storyline. And then how does Florida State reload? What does Thomas Castellano say this time maybe? And then, beyond all that too, I guess, just what does SMU do? They lost quite a bit. I know Kevin Jennings is back. What's that look like? And, the undercurrent of it all will be, is the ACC a 1-bid or 2-bid league this year?
It'll definitely be interesting, and it's just right around the corner. I'm already tasting the football season, feeling the fall air.
Yeah.
Pete, it's getting exciting, man. We appreciate you hopping on with us. Let the people know where they can find all of your work as well as follow you on socials.
Yeah, you bet. So I'm over at on3.com, and then you can find me on X at Pete Makos _.
Yeah, P, we appreciate it, man. These deep dives that you've been doing, those things are absolutely tremendous, bro. Keep that up, bro. And we'll definitely have you back on again because you are absolutely killing it with these deep dives into these quarterbacks.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys.
No problem, man. That's Pete Nakos of On3. And yeah, the Haynes King interview is extremely unique because you only know about him because of the win against Miami, when Miami was one of and considered one of the best teams in the country last year. Then if get 8 overtimes. I mean, I know it obviously a lot of this goes down to 2-point conversion overtimes.
I was eating at a Jefferson's when that game was going on. I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
It was absolutely unbelievable because it would have totally changed so much. It wouldn't have changed the SEC championship, but it would have definitely changed some things for the college football playoff. And Georgia Tech was very close to that record being a lot different. They lost to Syracuse by 3. They lost to Georgia by 2. And those 2 losses right there, you turn that around and that team's now 9-3.
Yeah.
And and obviously they did beat Florida. And then you can even look at the game like the one against, Virginia Tech, where they obviously didn't play well at Virginia Tech because, Enter Sandman, please.
I think that was a day game, Joe.
Doesn't matter. It was a day game. It kicked off at noon. 11 a.m.
It's not the same energy.
It said Lee Corso has his headgear on. Let's go to Blacksburg. Like that, it was that game.
Yeah.
But no, it was that Georgia Tech team. If Haynes King is right, and he had a lot of touchdowns last year, Georgia Tech may be an outside team to pay attention to.
Kind of reminds me of a guy like Bryson Daly from Army. He's just got a physical build, and on top of that, he might not be throwing it as much, but he is going to fight for every single yard. But Joe, you look at any of those middle tier ACC squads that went and lost 6 games and had kind of mediocre seasons. They have a lot of talent. And if they just scored maybe at 1 field goal or 1 touchdown more last year, then their records would be completely different. But it is that parity that's going on in the ACC right now that a lot of people are overlooking just because it's taken a lot of these teams out of college football playoff contention. But again, lots of eyes on Clemson. Cade Klubnik coming back. Right now, he's looked at as one of those Heisman favorites. On top of that, you have North Carolina with Bill Belichick as the head coach. That's going to be a huge storyline to follow all throughout this season. SMU, Georgia Tech, bringing back the same quarterbacks that they had last year and found success with. There is just a lot to get into with the ACC that we have hardly even touched on, but we will be because, of course, football season right around the corner, and I am so very excited.
Look, it's next week is July.
Yeah,
that month we have football. It's the Hall of Fame game, but we have football.
I like the Hall of Fame game.
But we also start looking at some things that are better and worse or need to be better because yesterday we talked about there's some defenses in the SEC that need to step up. Not because their team, was 1-10 or 1-11 and they're like, hey, look, the defense needs better. We're talking about defenses that need to be better because if they just get a little bit better, their team goes from middle of the pack of the SEC to the top half of the SEC, if not the top of the SEC. What defense needs to improve the most for their team to take that next step in 2025? It's next on the Blitz, 256-576-4977, WZZN TV, ESPN Winchester, and 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Phone lines are open now. 256-576-4977. This is The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series this week, the Quaker Estate 400 of the Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta. Ryan Blaney's the 8-1 favorite. Joey Logano plus 850. Austin Cindric 9-1. William Byron 10-1. Kyle Busch is 14-1. The Braves have won 9 of 12. They rally for a 7-4 win over the Mets yesterday at Citi Field. Today, Didier Fuentes at $1.12 underdog against Clay Holmes of the Mets minus 137. 9.5 under the total at Citi Field in New York. And Colin Morikawa is a 12-1 favorite in the Rocket Classic this week on the PGA Tour at the Detroit Golf Club. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back right before Independence Day for a 3-game homestand July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The homestand concludes with a special Independence Eve celebration featuring a 6:05 p.m. start time and post-game fireworks show. Get your tickets for the homestand now by visiting TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
At the Huntsville Sports Commission, we do sports. The Rocket City is your destination for world-class sports in North Alabama. The Huntsville Sports Commission brings elite tournaments, championships, and other exciting athletic events to our city. From youth leagues to national championships, we're driving tourism, boosting local business, and building a stronger, more active community. When you team up with us, we'll worry about the details so you don't have to. We do sports.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Once again, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Heat indices anywhere between 104 and 108. Going to be another hot afternoon. Temperatures drop into the mid 70s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Slightly better opportunity for rain. Otherwise, temperatures climb into the mid and upper 90s.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You listen to the Rocket City Trash Pandas all season long. Trash Panda Baseball is only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Get off this train. Get up and drop that thing on me.
Hello and welcome back into the Blitz. This is a song I could do without. This is one I could do.
Yeah, I meant to delete this. The problem is if I do delete this thing, it restarts the rotator at the very top.
I got you.
And so you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. Take care of that whenever you can, Joe.
Yeah, I need to write that down with all the things that we need to fix. There's some believe it or not, there was actually an umpire last night during baseball that was actually worse than the one the Braves had behind the plate last night.
Is it the umpire that kicked Jazz Chisholm out of the game?
No. This was actually this was up.
That happened, Joe.
I know.
Come on now.
I know. It wasn't for the same reason that we saw in Coastal Carolina in the
similar
arguing balls and strikes.
It was a clear ball that then led to him to strike out, which obviously he could have hit the ball. But I mean, whenever that happens and you're at bat, I mean, it's going to throw you off because that ball was like 3 inches under his batting box.
So
he continued to flap going out onto the field. And
that umpire actually, he graded out with a 94% ball accuracy rate last night.
Damn.
And a 94% called strike accuracy. You're talking about Marco Wegner, who was behind the plate for that game.
Yeah.
For the Braves game, that was, I want to say his name is Adam Hamari, I believe is how you pronounce it. He was uniquely 99% accurate on called balls in the game.
Good for him.
Only 89% accurate on called strikes, which there were a few that were definitely not strikes. And it's uniquely enough with the breakdown that I get every single day. It tells you like the most impactful ones.
Mm-hmm.
His 3 most impactful missed calls were all on the Braves.
They still won.
It was all on the Braves, which,
won.
and they still won, but those were the most impactful ones there. He was 89% accurate. That was not the worst one of the night because the worst one of the night actually happened in Minnesota. And that umpire, Jeremy Rahak, I believe is his name, was only 80% correct on called strike calls last night in the 6-5 win for the Mariners.
How low do you got to get like taken off of an MLB game? I mean, I
don't know. Ask the umpire from the College World Series. The accuracy average for home plate umpires, just letting you know, the overall accuracy average is 91%. The overall consistency percentage is 94% on average. The called ball accuracy is normally around 97%. That's the league average. And the called strike accuracy percentage, which is the one that we all obviously care about the most and, pay attention to the most, is 88% on average. So 80% wasn't his best night.
No,
he didn't have a good night. There's some defenses in the SEC probably walked off the field a few times and said, you know what, we didn't have our best night.
Yeah, I could throw out a few of them. You could throw out a few of them, but it doesn't come down to teams that don't have the offensive side either. This is teams that strictly need help on the defensive side of the ball that could possibly get them that push to get them into a college playoff. I mean, you look at Mississippi State, for instance. Joe, if I say their defense is fixed, do you think they're going to the college playoffs? You think they're doing anything like that?
I don't think that they're going to a Florida Bowl.
No. This team was bad on offense. It was ranked 14th throughout the SEC, and on defense, they were the worst team. They allowed 11 more touchdowns to the team above them. who was sitting at second to last, and that was LSU. Surprisingly, it was LSU, a team that allowed 316 points throughout the entirety of the season. LSU would be that first team I look at that needs the help on the defensive side of the ball, and if it happens, they may as well be one of the top teams to look at. A lot of people love what they've got going on offense, but the defensive side of the ball, same thing for the last few years. Been a little bit of a struggle bus.
Yeah. So what John was thinking about when he asked this question yesterday, as a matter of fact, we didn't get into it as much as we had wanted to, was you're talking about those middle tier teams that kind of like what we were talking about just a moment ago with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech was 10 points away from being 9-3, possibly 10-2 after last season. Now, if one of those or two of those games happen a little bit differently, I think that Haynes King is being looked at differently going into 2025 because Georgia Tech would have ended the season. They wouldn't have played Vanderbilt in a bowl game that they didn't care about. Like, those sort of things that changes the trajectory of your football program. I think that is kind of what, this question is going to be talking about, because you mentioned Mississippi State. Okay. Yeah. Mississippi State had the worst scoring defense in the SEC. Ole Miss, uniquely enough, was amazing on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
As crazy as that is for a team that didn't even make the college football playoff, they led the SEC in scoring defense and scoring offense.
Yeah.
They did.
It was the inconsistencies that got them.
Yes.
It was the choke fest that got them against Kentucky.
It was the games that they shouldn't have dealt with what they did. Kentucky last year plays into what you were saying. Kentucky last year had one of the worst offenses in the SEC, if not the worst offense in the SEC.
But
they also had a god-awful defense.
The defense wasn't horrible. It was bad at times, but it wasn't horrible. But this is a team that, again, they would need more help than on just the defensive side of the ball.
No, you're right. And what's wild about this is, especially in 2025, we're saying a team giving up over a little bit of 22 points a game, which put them in the bottom half of the SEC, was a massive killer for them. It was a massive killer. Like, yes, your offense is only scoring about 21 points a game, and your defense is giving up 22 points a game. You do the math on how many games you think you're going to win. So that's not what we're talking about. We want to know your teams that, like John was talking about with LSU. If LSU is just, say, a field goal better, it sounds crazy. They gave up 24.3 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
If they were just a field goal better and give up 21.3 points a game, where do they stack up? Because in the SEC, 21.3% would have had you at Auburn, which is right smack dab in the middle of the SEC.
No.
That's the question. I have two teams that I can put in this that we'll have when we come back. I've got two teams I'm thinking of. Phone lines are open as well. 256-576-9777. ESPN Winchester. Hop in on WZZN TV. It's how you continue watching the second hour of the Blitz.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch the Blitz live now on X at 97.7 ESPN.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellini's tonight.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series this week, the Quaker Estate 400 at the Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta. Ryan Blaney's the 8-1 favorite. Joey Logano plus 850. Austin Cindric 9-1. William Byron 10-1. Kyle Busch is 14-1. The Braves have won 9 of 12. They rally for a 7-4 win over the Mets yesterday at Citi Field. Today, Didier Fuentes at $1.12 underdog against Clay Holmes of the Mets minus 137. 9.5 under the total at Citi Field in New York. Colin Morikawa is a 12-1 favorite to win the Rocket Classic this week on the PGA Tour at the Detroit Golf Club. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Once again, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Heat indices anywhere between 104 and 108. Going to be another hot afternoon. Temperatures drop into the mid 70s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Slightly better opportunity for rain. Otherwise, temperatures climb into the mid and upper 90s.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham on this Wednesday. Coming up on Friday, John and I are going to be out at Bobcat of Huntsville, broadcasting from 9 to 11. You can hop out there and join us. as we look for something to help us bury the Mets, like what the Braves are about to do here in a few hours.
Can't wait. And you're going to be able to listen to it here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Yes, so you can join us starting at 9 o'clock right out there doing that near Harley Davidson, where we're going to get to have a little bit of fun during the broadcast. There's going to be giveaways, all of that happening on Friday with us beginning at 9 a.m.
You know what's funny, Joe? I actually think they're doing a little thing where you're able to drive some of the equipment. So I'm just
so I can dig a hole 6 feet down for the Mets.
No, well that,
Okay.
and also I get to actually see you work some of this heavy machinery. And now I bet those nerves are really building up right now. I bet they really are. I would say the same thing for myself though, because I haven't drove a skid in about 2.5 years now. So I mean, it's very easy. All it takes is just you drop the handles and then you grab the gear. You got to make sure though you turn the key halfway. Then you press the little safety button and you turn it all the way. You get that thing rolling. All right. You get that thing going. And then it's just Joy-Cons pretty much. And then you just, you're just moving the thing around. It's like a video game, but in real life. And of course, you got to be a little bit more responsible because unlike video games where you have multiple lives, well, you only have one life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is the case. Just like we just have one show from 9 to 11 every single day that you can hop on and talk to us pretty much about whatever you like. We've been talking about SEC defenses, which we're going to continue here in just a bit. I know that we have phone calls happening as well at 256-576-977. So let's get going on those on this Wednesday on the Blitz.
Brandon, what's up, man? How you doing?
Are y'all going to have a skid steer race?
Oh, can you race a skid steer?
Of course you can. See,
No,
that just shows it. That just proves
Look, no,
it,
I'm just
all
talking
right?
about speed, man.
You can race some.
I'm
They
just
go pretty
curious about
quick.
the speed.
And I don't even know. The Bobcat skids might be a little bit different. They might be a little bit more action-packed. Who knows? They might have like a dually engine in them or something like that. I highly doubt it, but, compared to the ones I was driving in the past, yeah, these ones are probably a little bit more built up for it.
Well, speaking of video games, so I was actually playing with my son yesterday. I got the old Nintendo out, which is what I fool with, and we were playing Arch Rivals basketball. And my son said, "I like this game." He's like, "But these graphics are dog water."
Wait, is that the one where you like have to start off shooting like free throws?
It's the one where it says you're on fire when you hit 3 in a row and you can punch people, and that evolved into a conversation. And I said, I wish they made an NCAA baseball game where you could do all the stuff in the game that you can't do in the actual game.
Oh, kind of like NFL Blitz.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said where you can, when you hit a home run, you can taunt the other dugout as you go by. I was like, you might can argue balls and strikes. You might can run into the first baseman. I was like, you get like a fan interference on a home run. Make it a little realistic.
Yeah.
With today's graphics.
You know what the funny
He
thing
looked at
is?
me and
Oh, continue.
I said maybe you could charge the catcher at the plate, all the kind of the stuff that would make baseball interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like basically if they went back and did an NFL Blitz for Major League Baseball.
Well, what was it? Which was in 2003? They had an MLB game.
It's like Slugfest.
Slugfest. That was the game. Yeah,
Slugfest.
Everything about that game was perfect. From the color commentation to the players to everything, you could charge them out. All of that was great. Did you know though that the game that you were playing was worked with Midway, who was a game developer, but it was also paired with Bally Sports back then. So
that game came out in like 89 or 90.
It came out in 89 on the arcade. It came out in 1990 on NES, and then 1992 on Genesis.
The slogan for Bally and Midway was "Fun is our business." That's not the case anymore.
By the way, I think if Midway is also the people that create Mortal Kombat
and Pac-Man,
and I think Injustice 2. Because they're the same game.
Yeah, I just knew that game was really old. I was like 8 when it came out.
Well, that's the way. Has your kid played any like newer games, or have you started them out with the older games?
No, he's PS5, but every now and then I get the Nintendo out, and he's like, "This is trash."
Oh,
it's trash.
Yeah.
See, here's what's really cool is Brandon. Again, if all my overseas websites that I follow, you can get like a Game Boy that has every bit of these games that you play. Like it has like 1,000 video games on it from Nintendo, Super Nintendo, all of that. Like that's that's one of the things that I got my son started on when he started playing Super Mario Brothers.
One of my friends is married to a girl that she's from Upper China, and they went there one time, and he come back and brought me this thing. It's called the Retro Freak, and it'll take like 10 different kinds: Super Nintendo, Sega.
Yep.
He brought this thing back when he came back, and I'd never seen it. And it doesn't look like a regular Nintendo. It's crazy looking, but it takes all these games.
Yep.
And I've still got it, and I don't think I gave him like $200 for it when he got back. But he said, I knew you would want this. So
it's a 12 in one.
Yeah,
it has 12 different retro game systems in it.
Like my shampoo.
Head and shoulders.
It's your shampoo, conditioner, as well as body wash all in one.
My head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Yeah, knees and toes.
And to morph in the main thing I wanted to talk about. So we're looking at schedules yesterday and talking about football. And I'm looking at Alabama's schedule, and other than that road game at Georgia, I don't see why you couldn't go 10-2. But then the question gets brought up. We're looking at Auburn's schedule, and I said, okay, let's take a look at this. I said, so Alabama could reasonably be 2-1 or 3-0. That's their first 3 games, because you got 2 teams that you can rebuild real easy, and you're playing 2 big boys. I hope we'll be 3-0. But we look at Auburn plays Baylor, Ball State, and South Alabama. You could be 2-1. You could be 3-0. Well, then you take a look, and it goes at Oklahoma, at A&M, week off, Georgia, Missouri, Arkansas. That's a nice little 5-week stretch right there.
No, that's called 5 losses.
No, Missouri. I think they can get Missouri.
And then after you get through that, you look up and you say, okay, well, we got to play Kentucky and Vanderbilt after we've been through those 5 games. And you may think, okay, well, what is Kentucky going to be, a doormat? Then you look at Vanderbilt and you say, are they going to be a decent or better team than they were last year?
Yeah.
And I just feel like that 7-game stretch, that 7-week stretch you're going to go through right there, I feel better about Alabama's time in that same amount of games than I do Auburn's. And I just wondered with Joe, when you see that, what are you looking at? I know you say 5 losses. I mean, that's pretty tough to go to at Oklahoma and at Texas in back-to-back weeks after you just played South Alabama.
Yeah, and then you get at Oklahoma and at Texas A&M, and then you get a bye week just to welcome Georgia in. And again, yes, I'm looking at Missouri as like last year, that team that was like 2-10 and Brady Cook and how good it was. Obviously, they lost a lot, and so
They weren't 2-10.
weren't they? No, I said 10-2.
No, you said 2-10.
I said 2-10. My bad. 10-2. I apologize. I had the right numbers, just wrong way. Arkansas. I just now really started my deep dive into the SEC as far as like getting ready for media days, so that I, kind of get back in that mindset of remembering everything that's kind of happened with these teams. But with Vanderbilt, that team, that's one of the teams that I was going to mention for that offense was not bad. But if that defense could be even better than what they were last year, because last year they improved by, I believe, 14 points from the previous year. I want to say that in 2023, they gave up 36 points a game. And I want to say in 2024, they gave up like 22 points a game, if I remember correctly, maybe 25. And they improved big time. So if they could improve a little bit, the whole Diego Pavia and running the state of Tennessee, it's kind of like what we talk about with Castellanos. It's crazy now until they actually start winning. And then you go, oh, okay, hold up. Like maybe this is something that we can look at.
Let me add to this conversation.
Vanderbilt's not a doormat this year.
I will say this. All right. You have that middle part of the schedule. Depending on which way it goes, Kentucky and Vanderbilt could be 10 times more difficult than they need to be. All right. If you are able to have a chance at possibly getting into a college football playoff, which again, I think would be a far reach for Auburn going into this upcoming season, but you could see Auburn get 2 easy wins against the Kentucky and a Vanderbilt. I mean, Vanderbilt, of course, going to be a little bit more difficult, but then you also still have to end off against Alabama. So they're either going to be a hefty push forward to a college football playoff berth, or they're going to be a deteriorated team that's been beat up all season long by the brunt of the SEC, and you're just going to get spit out right in front of Kentucky and Vanderbilt for 2 extra losses.
Look, in all reality, Brandon, the way that I'm looking at this schedule right now is I'm going, okay, at what game do I consider starting Deuce Knight? Like that's where I look at this. Again, I think Jackson Arnold is trash. And I think that he's going to be god-awful at Auburn. But if Hugh Freeze really is on the hot seat, the way that even national people are talking about, again, you've sold the future, but you got to win this year or there is no future for you. At some point in time, that leash on Jackson Arnold's got to be really short if he starts performing the way that he did at Oklahoma. I'm trying to figure out where in this schedule you think about making that change. And quite frankly, I look at it between October 11th and October 18th, because you do not want his first start if they were to go with Deuce Knight, if he, shows the talent and everything that we think he could. You're not going to want him to start at home against Georgia. You're just not. I mean, that is a wrong team to try to get your first start in. Now, you use the bye week to kind of get him up to speed and go, okay, depending on what happens against Georgia, be ready. Like, he could come out in the second half. Like, it's one of those things. But then you start him against Missouri at home before going on the road to Arkansas, before you get Kentucky, and before you get Vanderbilt.
Could be a hefty performance.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're looking at this as a way of, I want to know when and if Auburn would make a quarterback change, where it would be in the season. That's my question with this schedule. Because again, Jackson Arnold, I don't think Auburn's going to beat Baylor. Like right now, I don't even believe they're beating Baylor at the beginning of the season.
And I wouldn't look too much into that though, Joe. I wouldn't dictate the rest of the season on a Baylor loss at the beginning. To start off, right, it's definitely possible. But I could also look at them winning against Oklahoma and possibly giving Texas A&M a run for their money.
Look, we all know, and Brandon, you've heard this, man. I always talk about former coaches or former teams facing one of their old players. Rafael Devers, literally went off against the Red Sox over the weekend because he had seen the pitching. He knew what he was facing, and he had a tremendous weekend against them. I kind of look at this as the same thing about what Oklahoma could do against Jackson Arnold if Jackson Arnold's going back into Norman, Oklahoma. I'm going, oh, this may not be pretty. This may not be.
Well, I'm looking at it, and I'm saying to myself that you're not doing too bad. I don't think Baylor is a terrible team, but I think they could beat you. And then you're looking at Ball State, South Alabama. No reason not to win those two.
Correct.
One reason, Gio Lopez.
But if he goes out there and Jackson Arnold gets murdered at Oklahoma, I could see him making a change at the Texas A&M game. I don't know if they'll short leash him that bad, but you would be right to say coming off a bye week against Georgia, that would be a ballsy move if you change quarterbacks that week.
Well, and let's not – I have to at least say Ashton Daniels. I at least have to say it, but –
because he was the starter last year.
I mean, again, I have to at least say it, but until we see – because he's going to get garbage time against Baylor. He's going to get garbage time against South Alabama. He's going to get that, and he's going to get garbage time against Ball State. But so will Deuce Knight. So that would be – look, I always say I hate watching POS games because I absolutely do. This may be the reason I have to watch a little bit more of Auburn in a POS game, because I want to see between the backup quarterback spot, who is the true backup quarterback. Is it Deuce or is it Ashton Daniels? That's the one I need to know, because that's the one that's going to get that first one. And if you're right, he gets killed against Oklahoma, I don't know if they would make the change against Texas A&M, but they could definitely go into that bye week with a plan to go ahead and redo that and add in Deuce Knight or Ashton Daniels as your starter and put him out against Georgia, because you know that what you've got with Jackson Arnold isn't it.
Well, if you're looking at the situation, like Alabama plays Florida State, ULM, and Wisconsin. Auburn plays Baylor, Ball State, and South Alabama before Oklahoma. If you're going to stay with Jackson Arnold, how much playing time are you giving your other quarterbacks in Ball State and South Alabama in the second half? Are you giving them meaningful snaps, or are you trying to get them in middle of the second quarter?
Depends on how quickly you get up. I mean, seriously, it depends on what you're doing. If you're up 28-0 at the end of the first quarter, the idea with a lot of times when you start putting your second, your third team in is you would at least like your first team to come out of halftime and at least run a series just so that they can, continue to get that experience of coming out of the locker room at half and going through at least one series. And then you start putting your backups in. But if you get up 28-35 in the first quarter, you pull the parachute then. And you go ahead and start getting these guys as much work as possible, especially if we start getting into fall camp and that Auburn's going to say, well, we're still figuring out, the depth chart in this. There's a battle for both the starting quarterback position and the backup. And, this could go into the season. Well, unless Jackson Arnold literally is just throwing the ball like that guy that has too much butter on his hands in the longest yard, like unless that's happening, he's going to be your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
You now figure out which one is going to be your backup because that's going to be the one that gets the next snaps. And honestly, if I'm the backup quarterback at Auburn, I am prepping to be the starter because I know I just know at some point in time, this is probably going to happen, especially in a situation where Hugh Freeze has to be very smart with the decisions that he makes or he is fired.
Well, and I got to looking and I said to myself, and I had a laugh and then I didn't have a laugh. I said, to me, as bad as Auburn was last year, how many noon kicks do they have this year? And I was thinking at least 4. No, they only have 2. They have the 12:45 South Alabama and then the noon at Arkansas. Other than that, they don't play before 2:30 Eastern time the rest of the year. And I'm taking a look at Bama. Bama plays at noon Wisconsin and then noon at Missouri. So they only ended up with 2 noon games apiece. And I'm honest with you. As bad as Auburn was last year, I figured they would have at least 4, maybe 5 noon kicks this year. And I think they did pretty well to get a lot of those 3:30 slots that they got.
Well, and a lot of this also comes down to their opponent. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's the SEC. So, I mean, like one of the early kicks you're probably going to have is going to be Auburn and Arkansas. Both of those teams weren't tremendous last year in the eyes of the SEC because of how good the top of the conference was. Okay, great. You also could look at that Kentucky kickoff on November 1st. That could be that 7 p.m. on SEC Network game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what that game could be.
Well, and I was looking at the Vanderbilt game, and I mean, this turned out to be at 3:30. So, I was a little shocked at that. I mean, they're playing Mercer at 2 at home, which that's going to be a SEC plus ESPN plus game. So I guess that one's
that is basically, hey guys, you guys aren't on national TV. You guys can choose your time on that one. Like, we're not putting you on national television for that. We're putting you on our new version of pay-per-view.
Agreed. So I took a look at that and just looked at that schedule and was looking at what I thought between Alabama and Auburn. And I guess I just feel better about Alabama's schedule, that 7-week run, than I do Auburn.
Look, I think that even the November, and Brandon, we got a roll, bro. I appreciate that. I think that even if you look at the game at Vanderbilt, that's supposed to be either a 2:30 or 3 o'clock or 3:30 kick because it's in that window. I think that actually has more to do about Vanderbilt than it does with Auburn. Not saying that Vanderbilt is a better team than Auburn right now, because talent-wise, they should not be. But at the same time, this is a Ferrari with a Camry engine. Like that's what we're kind of talking about. Again, Camry engines are extremely reliable, man. Camrys do not break down.
It'll take you a long way.
But at the same time, if you're in a Ferrari, you're expecting a little bit more out of your engine. And I know I'm literally talking about Toyota as we have Toyota plants here. But I'm just like, that's what I'm saying is you've got to have the right person driving the car. And Auburn doesn't have that right now. Don't know if that's Daniels. Don't know if that's Deuce Knight. I know it ain't Jackson Arnold, so we appreciate it, bro. Thanks, man.
Roll Tide.
All right, see you, bro. We'll be back. I've ran over my time, and John's getting mad at me.
Yeah, I'm a little upset.
It's okay. It happens, and I'm normally the one that gets mad. Okay, we'll be back. We love you.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison. SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
I'm here with our good friend, John Kendall. He's got 23 years of retail mortgage experience in the Tennessee Valley, and he's powered up with the #1 retail mortgage lender in the nation.
That's right, Scott. We have joined with Cross Country Mortgage, and that is true. We're the #1 retail mortgage lender in America. And with that powerhouse team and our experience here locally, we're ready to go.
They've got 120 mortgage, refinance, and home equity solutions to fit every need. If you call on Cross Country Mortgage, it is for the win.
That's right. You can reach me, Scott, at 256-562-3780, or you can go to crosscountrymortgage.com and then search my name.
It's Cross Country Mortgage and John Kendall, a powerhouse team. One more time, John.
That's crosscountrymortgage.com, 256-562-3780. If we can't close your loan, it simply cannot be closed.
Equal Housing Opportunity Company in MLS, number 3029.
This is Steve Moulton for Lee's Magic Tunnel. Do you live out of your car? Does your car look like you've been well lived in? Then take your vehicle to Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway. Any size of the vehicle, it doesn't matter. Lee's will get it clean. Offering many types of washes, but getting it clean inside and out. Ask for the manager special. That's at Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway, and located online at leesmagictunnel.com for more information.
This is the Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. 256-576-4977.
I absolutely love that this is what we're coming back to, because of what I've been watching during the
bar fights
commercial break. For a lot of people that don't know,
Adrian Peterson fighting people.
No. That was over a poker game.
Yeah.
So
some drinks involved.
Obviously, we know my history with Nashville, and we've talked about it. And obviously, I left Nashville to come back home so that I can spend more time with my family, work here, all of that. John's giving me this look of like, what the heck is Joe talking about?
No, yeah. When did you go to Nashville?
I mean, I never actually lived there just because I drove back and forth. But spending time up there doing radio, getting to know everybody, and there is a lot of cool events that happen that you can say, all right, only in Nashville. Like there are those types of events. Like in Huntsville, like, there's that joke about, well, it's not like you're doing rocket science. Well, we have many of our listeners actually are. So it's those sort of things you talk about. It's like this could only happen in Nashville. This week, Tight End University is taking place. Now, John, do you know what obviously what tight end in university is?
Yeah.
Okay. What is tight end university?
It's all about building up tight ends.
That's right. You're doing squats, you're doing those sort of things. No,
Yep.
It is basically this theory and this idea that George Kittle had that tight ends don't get love. Like they don't get the notoriety of wide receivers, of quarterbacks, of all this other
That's why
stuff.
there's tight end day, George.
You know who started that?
Rob Gronkowski.
I think George did, actually.
Probably.
I think he did.
I mean, I'm just thinking of the
So-
most influential tight ends of the last few years.
But they've turned this into like a camp for tight ends that you go to in Nashville with Vanderbilt, where they're on Vanderbilt's practice fields, and they've turned this into the thing. It started off small with just a few tight ends, and then it literally became like all of the tight ends in the NFL go to this camp and they work on getting better. Now you're starting to see bigger name quarterbacks that are starting to come out there as well. And now this has kind of become this event in Nashville that tight end university is this thing where obviously George Kittle lives in Nashville and that's why it's all centered around there. But a lot of athletes come to this. Well, now they've added a charity event to this and it's called Tight Ends and Friends. And it happened last night.
Oh, that sounds cute.
On Broadway. See, it's kind of a nice little catchy tune, right? And this is a charity event that they do, obviously, at a bar in Nashville, and they get a bunch of country music singers to come out and to perform. And so I'm going through the videos of everything that's kind of came out over the last 24 hours of all of this, and you have all of these country music artists, that obviously you would make fun of on there. I want to say one half of Florida Georgia Line was there. Obviously they live in Nashville. You can start going through some of the popular names. You had Brown,
Hank Brown.
No, it's not. Is it Hank Brown? No, it's not Hank Brown. Anyways, you have
I know country singers, Joe. Just because I'm not huge on the country music doesn't mean I didn't take plenty of trips down to Florida with Tom blaring country bass at me while I was sitting in the back of the Ford Expedition.
I understand that.
Come on now.
I know. But this event took place, and then you've got George Kittle is up on stage in his cowboy hat and his Wranglers and his cutoff. Post Malone is performing in this as well. Kane Brown. That's it. Kane Brown was performing. Luke Combs performed. Luke Combs and Post Malone sang Georgia Florida Line.
Joe, I'm on football mood. So when I said Hank Brown, I was actually throwing out the Auburn backup.
Screw him. He sucks.
He's only 20 years old.
Yeah,
You gotta
and he's
wait.
already a has-been.
Come on.
Actually, the only thing he was and never was, just to be honest.
He's
with
on the Iowa Hawkeyes now, so maybe next year
Yeah.
he'll actually have a little bit of help because he's got a better coach.
But
Maybe.
so this whole charity event takes place, and Kane Brown is done with his set, and he's like, "Hold up, we got one more thing happening. I got a special guest I want to bring out on
Johnny
stage."
Cash. Look at them
What, the
beans.
ghost of Johnny Cash? Are they going to put a hologram up? Are they getting a medium out there to talk to? Hey,
They've done it
Johnny,
with-
you don't mind if you sing Folsom? Like, are we doing that?
They've done it with Tupac, so I wouldn't blame them.
Some think Tupac's not dead. So he does this, and everybody's got their phones out, and they're like, who's it going to come? Who's it going to bring out? Like, who's he bringing out? And he brings Taylor Swift out onto the stage.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, only this could happen in Nashville. Obviously, she was there with Travis Kelce because Travis Kelce, tight end. He was at tight end U. It's a week that they have there. It's not like she's not going back to her hometown or anything. That's one of those only in Nashville could that kind of thing happen. But tight end U has become this massive event that NFL Network is there now. ESPN is there. Like, it's pretty cool. And so I'm watching the video of this, and just to be into that room as I'm looking at it, because it's kind of creepy to see, and it's on my phone right now, but somebody took a video and they're looking up in the balcony, and Taylor Swift has Travis Kelce on one side and they're dancing, and Post Malone is on the other side. It's like, what in heaven's name? This could only happen in Nashville,
Man.
where Post Malone, Taylor Swift, and Travis Kelce are all hanging out in a bar together.
It is so wild to see the growth of Nashville in the last few years has been absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's a staple of the United States. And back in 2010, I mean, this was not. It just wasn't. It has grown so much, and to have all of these big names, of course, it's always had like Taylor Swift, she's always lived in the Nashville area.
Yeah, and I mean, she went to school in Hendersonville.
She was like my neighbor at one point.
It's that. Yes, that's her hometown.
But it's had the people that have come out of Tennessee that have helped build up Nashville, and on top of that, I mean, it is the center of the world when it comes to country music, at least in my opinion.
No, it's honestly, that's the misnomer about it is it's the center of music altogether. Like, yes, we think of country music on it, obviously a ton. You can't walk down Broadway right now without every bar having some country music artist's name on it. Post Malone's building one, Luke Combs is building one, Garth Brooks just finished building one.
Hey, but
Friends in Low Places.
Huntsville's given us given the world Jesse Murph.
No, and again, I'm not saying that it's not, but there are more musicians that work and live in Nashville that we know of than just the ones that we're talking about. But it's another one of those, this could only happen there type things. That's the reason why I brought it up, because it was just so cool to see. And it was one of those special nights that you're just going, dude, I'm in a concert for a charity event. I'm getting Post Malone. I'm getting Kane Brown. I'm getting Luke Combs. And then I get, arguably the biggest name in all of music just randomly decides that she just wants to walk out on stage and sing a song.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet.
I thought this was a transition to the cover 5.
Which brings me to my first cover 5 question that I will get to in a minute, but we do have a phone call, so I figured we would go to that first.
It's Jason, so he's flexible. He could go with anything. But Jason, what's on your mind today, man?
Oh, no. Hey, I got y'all a trivia question since you brought up country music.
Okay, so this is a Blitz trivia game.
It's a fun Blitz trivia game.
Who is older, Willie Nelson or G.I. Joe?
Oh, I feel like G.I. Joe was out in did G.I. Joe? Are you talking about G.I. Joe from the cartoons and stuff like that?
Well, is there another G.I. Joe?
No, the toys.
Yeah, the toys.
I think G.I. Joe came out in the 1940s. Isn't that right?
I think Willie may have came out in the 1940s.
61. Willie Nelson's 95.
Wait, say that one more time.
Yeah, Joe is 61 years old. Willie Nelson's 95, I believe.
Here's what's so bad about this, because that's a 30-year gap. I genuinely was thinking to myself, Willie looks way older than what he really is. So I was about to say G.I. Joe.
He looks older than 91?
Yes, he does. Okay. I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, well, I know Captain America came out in the 20s or 30s. I mean, no, actually I think it was the 40s because he was fighting Hitler. So I'm like, all right, so is he old as Captain America? Is that a spinoff for G.I. Joe? That was the path I was going down with this.
Yeah. I was Willie's older than Barbie. There was one other deal that he was not older than that sort of surprised me. But yeah, Willie's older than most toys.
It's insane. Yeah, G.I. Joe came out during the Vietnam War. So,
I seriously would have said World War II. I truly
that's what I was thinking, but Captain America was the World War.
He was World War
hero,
II, yes.
So, learn something new every day.
All righty, y'all have a good one.
Thank you. I genuinely now want to ask Willie Nelson if he remembers the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And I'm not trying to be funny.
Man would go PTSD.
It was 1945, I believe, is when Pearl Harbor happened. Okay, so think about this. Willie Nelson in 1945 was 12 years old. It's not like he was, poop my pants. Like he wouldn't have been that. Like he's Ric Flair at a bar. Like he didn't just screw up and poop himself.
I mean, what would he remember though? The radio telling him that it happened?
Yes, sitting around the radio, listening and being unable to believe that this was actually happening. Like, you know what? Like I'm genuinely curious now about that with Willie Nelson. Does he have a book?
Well, you'll figure that out.
I will figure that out because I'm all about it. So again, since we're all musicians, most unique concerts you've ever been to.
Well, man, I haven't been to many concerts.
Fine.
I've been to
you're listening. It's gonna be easy for you to remember all of
right. Lynchburg Music Fest.
Wow. I seriously didn't think you were gonna go like that.
Oh yeah. Well, wait. I was doing photography and Hardy was on the stage.
I love Hardy.
And the next morning I woke up and I noticed that one of my pictures was in an article on, it was either the Tennessean or some random Tennessee news site. So, bam. Yeah, I got to experience it close up and personal. And then at one point he spit out some alcohol or whatever and it got on me. So, yeah, I was living that Hardy life. I didn't know he'd blow up as much as he did after that.
Well, and Morgan Wallen's part of that. The like Hardy, again, love it. If you've never heard Radio Song, can't listen to it on the air, trust me. That is so incredibly accurate about the radio industry that they're probably one of the reasons it's one of my top 5 songs ever because of how accurate it is about the radio industry that we are in.
What about you?
Most unique one. It may have actually been Garth Brooks. And it had nothing to do with Garth. Like Garth was my number one on top of my bucket list of musicians I wanted to see before I die. Like Garth Brooks was number one. He was performing at Nissan. And I just said, look, if I'm ever going to see it, I was able to get 2 tickets for me and my wife for like $100. And I was going, okay, if I'm ever able to go see Garth Brooks, I'm going to go see Garth Brooks in Nashville because, again, lives there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go see it. So we go on a Saturday night. It was 4 years ago, I believe.
What was unique about it, Joe?
It was unique because what night did I say it was on? Saturday night.
Yeah. Saturday.
In Nashville, what happens on Saturday night?
Party downtown.
Saturday night at the Opry. So what they did is they did a special version of Saturday Night at the Opry, which has been going for feels like 100 years. They did that before his show, and it was a part of his show.
Okay.
And they literally all the banners and all the ribbon boards and everything turned into basically like the Opry.
That's awesome.
And so they did a version of that show that they were broadcasting on the radio from Nissan right before the Garth Brooks concert. Garth Brooks concert is still one of my favorite concerts of all time.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that I'm sitting there, I had no idea that they were going to do this. And they did this show right beforehand. And I'm just going, like, again, only in Nashville.
I'll admit that's pretty unique, but I know a lot of our listeners have even more unique stories that they could tell us. 256-576-97.7. I know Summer has gone to the Taylor Swift concert that was at Nissan Stadium, I think 2 years ago on her birthday. So, I mean, even that would probably trump both of our suggestions.
Well, and the concert itself was awesome. Like, look,
I don't doubt it, Joe.
Look,
I truly don't.
There are very few rules that I have in my life, but one of them is you don't talk over the river. Like, that's it. You ever seen the Seinfeld episode where you like don't talk during that one song? For me, it's the river. You don't talk during it. My wife knows this. It's one of those. You don't talk during the river.
Then mine would be if like I went to a My Morning Jacket concert and it's wordless chorus. Don't talk over that song.
See?
Just don't do it.
See, so you have that.
So
it was cool to see that in person and the way that it was because there were all these songs that I absolutely love, but that wasn't the part that made it special. It was the Saturday Night at the Opry, which has literally been like one of the oldest radio shows in the country for decades.
Yeah.
So that was probably the reason why I would say that one.
All right. What you got next?
All right. So now our next question, since we did a music one first,
Okay.
let's go with one that is unique, and we'll go to break after I ask the question, and we can get you on the phone lines as well. 256-576-977. Last Sunday, 4 days ago, was the anniversary of Joe Louis, who is from Alabama, winning his very first heavyweight boxing championship. If you could go back in time and watch one game or sporting event, which one would it be? I give you a few seconds to think about it. We'll be back 256-576-977 as we are in the middle of the Cover 5 on this Wednesday on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, WZZN TV.
Yo, Hunk. John Abraham, 256-576-4977. This is the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our workhorse special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. But hurry, this offer is only good through June 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
I'm Jeff Jr., founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth. I was born and raised in northern Wisconsin by both my father, who owned a small 10-lane bowling alley, and my mother, who was a nurse, who did her best caring for everyone in our small town. My parents stressed with me that if you were going to do anything, it needed to be done right or not done at all. I later joined the Marine Corps, where additional values were instilled. Values like honor, courage, and commitment. The motto of the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, which means always faithful. The best part of Trajan Wealth, our 100-plus employees who also embrace the exact same values. If your current financial advisor is more interested in selling you something or is more loyal to their own financial gain than yours, give us a call for a second opinion. We would be honored to hear from you. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000. That's 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
The Atlanta Braves. Cranks one high in the air to deep left field. That's going to fly. It's a 3-run homer. And Sean Murphy off the injured list and onto the stat page with a 3-run homer off Zach Wheeler.
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Final segment, best segment on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Blitz, Joe Hunk, John Abraham with you for another few minutes. Tom Abraham's coming up at noon today. Decided to sing it for a second. Don't know why. You can hop in at 256-576-977. Thank you for joining in on the fun. And in the middle of the Cover 5 right now, WZZN TV is where you can watch as well, Facebook, YouTube, as well as X. And Chris says, man, I'm missing the ice in Probst Arena right now since it's been so hot. I think I would go lay on that ice right now if I absolutely could.
It's probably all melted.
You know, there's stuff in my vehicle right now that I've been needing to bring up to the studio for like the last 2 weeks because it was from the Rocket City Awards. And every single time that I think about doing it, I go, ooh, it's too hot to be bringing that stuff back out. If I'm going outside, I'm only doing it once, and I'm doing it to get into my car that's 142 degrees. And that is all that I'm going to be, the only time I'm going to be heading outside right now. So it is extremely hot. It's so hot that my wife that loves getting outside has said, yeah, no, we're doing everything inside the house right now. We are not doing anything outside of the house. Coming up tonight, after the drive, you're going to be able to hear the Braves, see if they can finish off that sweep against the Mets. That's right. They get to do it possibly twice. Swept the Mets last week, trying to do it again this week after giving up 3 runs to the Mets early on in that game yesterday and then scoring 5 runs in the 5th inning or 6th inning to go up 5-3 and then finishing off that game with a 7-4 win.
Yeah, let's hope we can see it happen again. And you know what I hope we don't see happen again? You mess up your history, Joe. That's right. We got a caller. He called in. It was Wayne. I also did not jump on it to tell you that this wasn't true because I was also kind of in my own zone. Pearl Harbor happened in 1941.
That's what
you said. 1945.
I did. I asked the question because I was like, wait a second, wasn't it? I thought it was.
I kind of just sat here and was just like, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I didn't say anything though. So I'm not at fault.
41. Yeah, I appreciate that.
45, you probably got it mistaken because 45 is when the nukes came down, which hopefully we don't have to see
That's
happen
probably
ever
what
again.
I was thinking about because I was in my head, I was thinking, well, 40, I was thinking, wait a second, because I thought the World War II started in 42. So that's the reason why. Yeah, I was totally off on that. So I appreciate that.
Anne Frank was already hidden away in 1942. So
yeah, no, she absolutely was. Great book. Also, horrible joke, but it's been a long time. So it's
joke.
Okay.
It was no joke. I didn't joke.
What?
You thought that was a joke?
Yes.
I didn't expect to hear any laughter over there.
No, I mean, you chuckle because you're like, yeah, I know
I
who
didn't
Frank
chuckle.
is.
I didn't chuckle.
No, you didn't chuckle. I'm just saying, like, that sounds like something I would have said. Actually, I kind of now need to give you props because that's kind of a me thing.
Okay.
Good job on
you know
that.
what else is a you thing is throwing the show off completely.
1000%. So let's get it back on track. Cover 5 happening right now.
Yeah, cover 5 is happening right now.
Yes.
We also didn't get into the full extended version of the defensive conversation.
You are correct.
We will need to do that as soon as tomorrow's episode starts.
Yeah, because we got to close that.
Lot of college football conversation is going to be on deck for tomorrow. But Joe, we got one more question to get in, and you kind of prepped it in the last segment.
Because for a lot of people that don't know, Joe Lewis is actually from the state of Alabama, and Lafayette is where he is from. But on Sunday, back in 1937, Joe Lewis won his very first heavyweight championship. And if you could go back in time and watch one game or sporting event, what would you choose? Now, I say sporting event because you could just say, I want to watch, round 4 of the 99 US Open, like something like that. Like if I could be there, I would, if I could, that's why I say event, not so much of just one particular game.
I'd take it back to before I was even born. I'd go back to the final game in the Cleveland Municipal Stadium.
They threw all the bleachers and stuff onto the field.
The final game, Joe, and the Browns of the past that disappeared for 5 years and then finally came back. But I'd want to go back to the Cleveland Stadium just because I never got to experience the OG Cleveland Browns, and that would have been, yes, a very hard game to
that
watch.
Would be sad.
But it would also be like, man, now I can really say that I am a Cleveland Browns fan through and through. I watched them die and resurrect. Plus, I'd also get to go back to 1995 when Neon Genesis Evangelion was first airing, which you have no idea what that was.
No, and I'm thinking to myself, like, that would be depressing. What would be worse if you're sitting back like this, you're just like, wait till you see what they do in Baltimore when they get there. It's going to piss you off even more.
I just have, like, chairs flying right next to me. I'd be like, hey.
You guys are mad now. Ooh,
but I'd also
wait till 2000.
I'd also get to take a chair, too. I mean, if the time machine's big enough, I'd store a chair in there. I'd replace the chair that's in the time machine with a chair from the Cleveland Browns Stadium.
Okay.
I mean,
it's not
bad.
It's not bad.
I'd feel all the emotions.
And it's bad because the one in my head I just want to be at. Just
and the Browns won that game, by the way, so that's the happy emotion.
I don't think there was much happiness in it, though. I really don't.
It was a win against the Bengals. I say that's
It's kind of like one of those games where you're like, yeah, we won, but this sucks. Like, I've never been so sad after a win before.
But yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
But you got to know where I'm coming from. As a time traveler, I know the Browns come back.
No, I mean, they still haven't come back. But yes. Now, for me, I truly just want to go back to Babe Ruth's called shot.
Of course. So you could do a better job making the AI version.
I've tried so many different ways. I've tried labeling it so many different ways. It just hasn't worked yet.
You need more details.
No, literally, this is like, because I just want to go back. I want to sit in those bleachers, either around home plate or what, and I just want to watch it. And then I just want to be that heckling fan in the crowd that goes, "Hey, what you pointing at?
You're yellow."
What? Heck, what are you pointing? Are you pointing at the pitcher, or what are you pointing at? Because that's what I want to know.
Throws him off his game.
Like, then he doesn't even hit the ball. Like, he swings and misses,
and you're out.
That's what I want. That's it. He points, and that's what I want to say. Hey, what you pointing at? You don't know this, but this is going to be debated for like the next 800 years after you die. I just need to know, what are you pointing at? Was it the pitcher, or did you point in the outfield? I need to know. That's what I want to do, just so that I can say I know the truth.
Okay.
I'm not trying to change anything. I just want clarification.
Apparently, you'd also want to go on the Titanic.
Yeah, I probably would want to go on the Titanic.
As
Probably would.
As much as you've played that old-fashioned video
Oh,
game.
my heavens. You know, I showed my son the simulator game that's supposed to come out in 2026.
Yeah.
He's asked me about it the last 3 days. Hey, when's that Titanic game coming out? Hey, when's that Titanic game coming out? Hey, when's that Titanic game coming out? Like, bro, I cannot wait. If they're smart, they release it around the anniversary. So around April of 1912.
That would be smart.
So it would be April of 2026 if they're smart, because this game looks absolutely amazing. It does.
It's probably made in Unreal Engine 5. There's probably not too much action to it. So it's just literally you walking around the Titanic.
Well, isn't that what a simulator is? Dude, you played a simulator of a pressure washer.
There's a goal.
Pressure wash.
There's a goal to it. What are you going to do? Save the Titanic?
No, you're trying to escape it. That's the goal.
Just get
You're
to the
trying
boats early.
No, it doesn't matter if you get to the boats early, because if you were a man, you didn't get invited. Because if you were a man, they said women and children first. That's the reason why there were like men dressing up as women just to get on the boat.
So your son's going to win the game, but you're going to lose.
Yeah, son's definitely on. Oh, yeah, he's getting on the first boat.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind being in that cold water right now with the weather that we got outside.
Yeah, it is like 110 outside. That actually kind of sounds fun. Have you ever went to one of those Titanic experiences where they have like the cold water?
In Gatlinburg.
Yes. Yep. You put your hand into it. You try to feel what it was like to be in that water that night. Submersible, by the way. Watch the Netflix episode, then the next one.
Joe's infatuated right now by the Titanic.
I am.
He's always been, actually. Turns out it's been something he's carried with him since the childhood.
It was my very first infatuation.
Either way,
crazy, right? It was a ship and not a girl.
Either way, mine was a football team, so I don't know if that's that much different. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Tom Abraham coming up at noon.
I love you.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at